The Covenant Field was discovered in 2003 by Wolverine. It is estimated that it contains 700 million barrels of oil. The oil is trapped in thick, porous, permeable Aeolian Jurassic sandstone. The same reservoir rock is found in footwall structures in the Utah-Wyoming thrust belt and is exposed below Paleozoic carbonate rocks near Las Vegas. The Covenant Field discovery confirms that Jurassic sandstone is the conduit for oil migrating eastward from Nevada's Mississippi Antler Basin to the giant breach structures in eastern Utah where there are no Paleozoic source rocks. Most of the oil escaped when these structures were breached by the Colorado River Basin system erosion. Only 13 million barrels of oil remain as tar residue. Some oil was trapped in narrow structures along the leading edge of the western North American Cordillera, including Utah-Wyoming thrust belt and the Covenant oil fields. However, no structure west of the leading edge of the Cordillera thrust belt has been adequately tested. The amplitude of these structures increased westward as the thickness of Paleozoic rocks involved in the thrust increased westward. Dr. Chamberlain is particularly pleased of the Covenant Field discovery because it confirms his analysis of thousands of shale samples. These analyses show that the Mississippi Antler Basin contains enough organic carbon to generate trillions of barrels of oil. Some of that oil migrated eastward and was trapped in structures along the leading edge of the western North American Cordillera. When he worked for Gulf Oil Company in the Bighorn Basin, he learned of long-range migration of oil from the Permian source rocks in eastern Idaho to the structural traps in northwestern Wyoming. His father first introduced him to Mississippian source rocks in the early 1950s. They collected fossil plants from his grandfather's clay mines in the Ochre Mountains southwest of Salt Lake City. His understanding of the Mississippian source rocks was expanded when he worked for several major oil companies after he completed his master's thesis at Brigham Young University on the rocks he grew up on. It was while working for Placid Oil Company that Dr. Chamberlain had the opportunity to take several retired shale geologists to sections that measured in the 1950s and 1960s as part of a major exploration effort by Shell Oil Company. Shell recognized the giant oil potential of the huge stratigraphic wedge of Paleozoic rocks that thickens from several thousand feet along the Utah Hinge Line to more than 45,000 feet in central Nevada. After receiving permission from Shell management, he used a $200 million stratigraphic database to learn the stratigraphy of the Great Basin and was able to develop and refine his new fill technique of creating surface gamma ray logs of sections as he remeasured the shell sections. The Grand Canyon field, discovered in 1983, kept the record for the most prolific onshore flowing oil well in all of North America for nearly 10 years and got the attention of many exploration companies. However, because neither the United States Geological Survey nor the state of Nevada has ever authorized the Geological Survey of Nevada, and because the Geologic Survey of Western Utah is mostly a compilation of student field camps, no coherent professional geologic survey of the Great Basin was available to exploration companies. Shortly after the Grand Canyon discovery, Dr. Chamberlain won the best poster of the National Convention of the American Association of Petroleum Geologists and was encouraged by several major oil companies, including Exxon, Texaco, Amoco, Ohio, Conoco, Chevron, Mobil, Conoco, Phillips, Shell Oil, and others to leave Placid Oil and initiate the Great Basin Geological Survey. Therefore, CedarStrat was started in early 1984, and its teams of geologists have been creating the Great Basin Geological Survey ever since. CedarStrat has now collected nearly 4,000 samples, or about 16 tons, from more than 500,000 feet of measured sections with surface gamma ray logs, studied about 200 wells, including more than 500 polymorph analyses, acquired the most complete proprietary gravity survey of the region, and has created major source and reservoir studies. While working on his PhD at Colorado School of Mines in the 1990s, Dr. Chamberlain developed a fill technique that combines high-resolution sub-meter GPS with MapInfo geographic information system to rapidly and precisely create geologic maps. None of the 5 universities attended earned his 5 degrees, and probably few, if any, American institutions have yet taken advantage of this new technology for geologic mapping. Dr. Chamberlain has traversed about 1,000 miles of rough terrain annually for the last 35 years, collecting more than 63,000 precisely located sub-meter structural attitudes, including 620 precisely located shell samples. After giving two presentations as guest speaker for the second time at the 2014 American Business Conference Emerging Shale Summit in Houston, geologists from a large exploration company asked if they could license the use of Cedar Strat shale samples and data library. As a result, Cedar Strat and its affiliate, Great Basin Shales Corp., are making the complete shale sample collection and data library available to the industry for the first time. The purpose of this effort is to allow exploration companies to independently verify that the Mississippi Antler Basin contains enough organic carbon to generate trillions of barrels of oil, and also to verify the organic content and maturation of the Bakken equivalent Mississippi and Devonian Pilot Basin and other stacked oil shale basins within the Great Basin. Please visit us at greatbasinshales.com to learn more.